Trump is a gift in the form of a test, an examination to see how much we know about World War II. Trump is a luminous example of pre-1930s fascism and pre-Depression economics. However, half, or at least a third, of America's current democracy approves of Trump still. A lot of us want a dictator. Why? Because the system is obviously failing, and at least in conspicuous decline. I believe after after World War II, the U.S. was famously successful. We did things no country had ever done. We gave money, U.S. dollars, to our former enemies. We didn't give them loans like after World War I, which crushed Europe's economy and precipitated the Depression. We gave them money. Of course, they were in dollars, and they had to buy American products with that, so it wasn't completely selfless, but it was unprecedented. Usually, if you win a war, you get to confiscate all the goodies from the defeated. But this crushes them, and we wanted to help the rest of the world. Beautiful moment in American history. Then, Vietnam, Korea, America's amateur experience in world leadership. And what do? We get inflation. We get shortages of oil because the rest of the world hated us, and we were cheating them, and we were playing big bully capitalists. And so we had bank failures because under Clinton, for example, some of the Depression-era protections got erased. So, clever. Despite repeated claims about our precious democracy, we live in a political duopoly. Our choice for president, for example, is a plebiscite, subject to the exclusive nomination of two parties only. This is not in the Constitution. Just like when Senate Leader McConnell decided that he alone will allow whether or not the Supreme Court nominees even get an interview, that is a political party construction. It's a convention. It's a custom and an invention. So it's not in the Constitution that one Senate leader gets to say what bills, for example, can decouple the entire Congress of the United States. Now, third-party candidates are rarely successful in our system because we got these two big bullies that will intimidate them and make it very difficult to get on, as we just saw. And again, Trump was sort of an illustration. He occasioned us to learn about how tough it is to get on electoral ballots. Inflation and bank failures are on both the parties' heads. Government spending, both of the parties. Both of them maintain a defense budget that is more than the rest of the world combined. Not a lot of people know that. 3 times what China spends on defense we spend. 3 times. Not just this year, but for decades. Our scary big opponent, the world's going to end because China's going to attack us. We have been spending 3 times as much as they have been spending for years, for decades. No wonder we don't have money for Medicare. We should not let the Trump diversion, however, and our righteous indignation hide the fact that the fault is in our electoral politics, electoral money, gerrymandering. These are bipartisan sins. Europe's proportional representation is not a smashing success either, but so far they managed to spend more on social programs than on war making, and in Britain, for example, you can't spend money on elections. I'm saying we need not to pretend that it's only Trump. And planning post-Trump, if it ever happens, we can't simply default to giving the Democrats a blank check. Tactically, of course, we should all be Democrats. With Trump in office, everybody should vote Democratic. Biggest crowd possible, biggest defeat in history. Strategically, however, our current suffering is a huge warning sign that something big must be done about electoral politics, particularly procedural customs that are extra-constitutional. When he passes, whenever he passes, and however means, Trump will have set the table for a new, I wanted to say 1,000-pound gorilla, but I said 10,000-pound gorilla in a Trumpian type of exaggeration. 10,000-pound gorilla, it doesn't exist, but in your imagination. 10,000-pound gorilla of a dear leader. He's set the table. He's set the precedent. The temptation will be enormous to follow in his pause steps.